And like I start off every show from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. May it be you tune in live and you're watching me right now, and or you're watching the pre-recorded stuff later on. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just glad that you took some time to tune in and watch the show. We got a really good one today. I'm super excited, especially about the topic that we're going to be speaking about. But before we start, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
What are you at, boss? Welcome to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right, there we go. As per usual, I'm not going to introduce the guest. They always do a better job than myself. So without further ado, Tanner, please hit our lovely guest with the camera and please introduce yourself and just give the people at home a little bit of a bio about you.
My name is Jessica Leska, and I will be running the Winter Road to Fort Chip on March 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And that is why I'm here today to chat with you lovely people.
Okay, so you're running this Winter Road in March. So you said you think you're going to do this in 3 days?
4 days is the base. Like, we're thinking 50 a day, but if it ends up being, like, if I'm just sitting there in the cold, unable to stay very warm, I'm just going to keep running. You know what I mean? Because that's a lot of idle time.
Yeah.
Between when you finish and when you go to sleep to wake up the next day.
Yeah.
So, and like I'm self-supported, so I can't just get the guys to bring me firewood and have a fire all night. Like, if I want a fire, I'm going to be foraging for the wood and stuff. So I've had it in my mind. I'm like, I'm going to test out next weekend, see what an actual day would be like, ending at 5, going to sleep at 9, and then decide from there.
Okay. So how many kilometers in total is this?
Oh, it's 205 kilometers.
205 kilometers, middle of winter.
Yes.
Okay, so the big question I think most people are going to be asking, and I'm thinking it, why?
Why?
Yeah.
The challenge. I was training to do the Iditarod, and because of COVID, it just wasn't plausible anymore. Wasn't feasible. And I was just like, well, why couldn't I just run the winter road? Like, I did the winter training in Alaska with the Iditarod crew, and it was so much like here. It was kind of shocking, actually, but just more drunk people.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, well, why couldn't I just do it here? And lo and behold, I dreamt up She Runs North.
Okay, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm a pretty big runner, very different from you though. I prefer to run on a treadmill. I don't like the elements. I'm weird. Like, I just put in my headphones, audiobooks, playlists, and I just run on my treadmill. Never run outside, ever. Go out of my way not to.
Oh, yes.
So you're doing something completely different. I got hooked on running when I was a child. What got you into running, and how did you get involved in that?
Actually, I didn't start running until like late 2015. I've never really been a super athletic person, but I had moved back, and the winters here can be really hard, and I knew I needed something to like combat the winter blues, right? And I saw this guy come into my condo. Like, I was at the Vistas, and this guy in the mornings, I'd be taking my dog for a walk, and he's like just finished his morning run, and he's completely iced over. He's got this epic ice beard, and I was just like, oh my god, that is so cool. Yeah. Like, so I wanted to try it, and I ended up buying a bunch of winter running gear, and I started, and I just haven't stopped.
That's awesome. So that's a crazy story, to be honest with you, that you started running in the winter. Do you do summer runs as well?
Yeah, I run all the time.
Okay, all right. So, wow, winter running though. So this is like a go-to jam for you. You're running in the winter all the time. So
yeah, but it's totally different to just run in the winter versus multi-day running in the winter.
Right.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, because like normally I would overdress and then I would come home and then just warm up, right? But if you do that when you're gonna go and get in a tent, you're gonna be wet. and
Right.
it's going to be extremely uncomfortable, if not
Hazardous.
very hazardous for you. So that's like, while I'm like 4 years of winter running under my belt, this is the first year I've been playing with moisture management to kind of like run just enough with right layers that I'm not sweating,
Hmm.
like saturating with sweat.
So you're diving into a topic where I wanted to talk to you about in regards to this
Sorry.
run that you're doing here. You're going to be outside the whole time. You're
Yes.
staying in a tent.
Yes.
Uh, are you packing food with you?
Yeah.
How are you going to stay warm? Like everything's on your back.
No, everything's in my sled.
Oh, okay. Let's hear about it. This
Yeah.
is this is amazing. Okay.
So I've been running with a tire in the summer. A lot of people may have seen me and just wondered what the heck I'm doing, but that's to train to pull weight behind me, and it actually worked wonders because like I've been pulling anywhere from 60 to 100 pounds in my sled, and it's not killing me. So there's the positive. Now I have to, because you have so much gear for a winter multi-day, right? You have your emergency clothing for if something makes you slow down, you got to throw it on so you don't lose heat. You got your food, like your fuel for your stove. You got your stove, you've got your multiple layers, you've got your safety gear, that sort of stuff. So it all adds up.
Yeah, no doubt.
To like, you couldn't carry it on your back.
Yeah. So I know the people at home are probably thinking the same thing I am right now. I'm terrified for you. You are doing this with a team, I'm hoping.
No, it's just me. And I've got like Thomas Hopkins Photography and Shaw Spotlight. They're gonna be out there too, and they'll be there in case something horrible happens. But like, the goal is completely self-supported.
Wow. Wow. Okay. But there is somebody checking up on you and like
Yes.
if
Yeah.
things go
Yeah, and I
awry.
have an InReach device, so it's like a satellite communicator. I hit an SOS button, and they send people to me. So like, we have a safety systems in place.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
You're nuts. This is really exciting. It's an adventure.
It is.
Yeah. So, are by nature you adventurous person, or is this kind of your first thing that is pushing you into this like new awesome realm?
Well, I haven't been, but I started to be, I guess.
Okay.
All when I found running. Um, I started doing stage races in other locations. Like, I've been to, my first one was in Costa Rica, and then Ireland and New Zealand and Iceland. So like, kind of combining travel with pushing your running limits, and that's adventure to me. Now the whole like self-supported thing is new
Right.
for sure.
Right. Okay. Nuts. So, with all this traveling though, I did some background research on you. You've pretty much lived your whole life in Fort McMurray.
Yes, pretty much. I spent like 7 years elsewhere and came back in 2013. But
Right.
aside from that, I spent most of my life here.
Okay. So you went through the school system here then, did you?
Yes.
All right. So we had a gentleman earlier in the week. He went to Compstead High School.
Yeah.
I went to Merck. Tanner, the man behind the camera, went to Comp. What school did you go to?
I went to Westwood for the first 2 years,
Okay.
and then Merck for the, or sorry, backwards. Merck for the first two, then Westwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we don't need to go into the differences between Merck and Westwood. They're a little bit different. Comp, very different. Out of the two schools, don't want to put you on the spot. Which one did you enjoy more?
You know what? That's an interesting question. I think I enjoyed Merck more because it was closer to my house.
There you go.
Yeah. Like, I mean, high school sucked no matter how many ways you slice it. So.
That is fair enough. Okay. So outside of running and this new adventure that you're going on, like what do you do in the community day to day? Like you must have a full-time job doing something.
Yeah, I work at Syncrude in controls for regional and corporate logistics. And aside from work, I host weekly runs with the Run Club when COVID isn't here.
Right.
Yeah, we have a pretty, it's been growing a lot, the running community here. So we have a few beginners runs, and we also had Park Run when COVID wasn't here. So
Mhm.
a lot of my time goes to that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
too.
it's amazing what you guys are doing. I know when, like was mentioning earlier, when I was young growing up in this community, like we had the Fort McMurray Running Club, and it was huge,
Oh
like
my God, so huge.
huge. And then over the years, it kind of died down. But you guys have done a tremendous job at trying to like
Thank you.
re-energize the community.
Yeah, yeah, they had it like insane numbers. Like if you have you seen FMR archives on Instagram?
Yeah,
Like uh, in the 80s even. So I'm like, how do we get there? You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. How do we get there?
yeah. I think you guys are doing a great job. I know my mom, Pamela Pierre, sitting at my sister's home right now. She joins you guys pretty often. She's a little lady. She's about, I think she's, I won't say her age, but she'll get mad at me. But yeah, she's a senior, and she runs 1 or 2 marathons a year, and she loves taking part in what you guys do
Oh,
and
awesome.
seeing different parts of the trails. It's funny, she moved here in 1977, so she's been here
Wow.
forever.
Yeah.
But she calls me up on the weekend. She's like, Elliot, I went to this new part of town that I've never seen before. Like, it's so cool. So through what you guys are doing, it's not only like promoting running, but it's like finding out more about the community and kind of different places in it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's part of the draw too. I love it. I love hearing people say, "I didn't even know this was here."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She's going hard on me right now. A lot of people are, especially a lot of people in your group as well, because I don't run outside. Like
Oh.
I just, so they're like, Elliot, start running outside. I'm like, nah, there's tons of reasons I don't
Well,
want
why
to.
don't you?
Well, that's a loaded question. So, one reason is I find running outside a lot harder on my joints than running on a treadmill. And I don't know if that's the truth or not. That's just me personally.
Hmm.
So, I love running. I'm addicted to running. I run probably 4 to 5 times a week, about 10 kilometers a run. So,
Okay.
I like love running, and I want to do it for my whole life.
Hmm.
So, I'm trying to have as low impact on my joints as possible.
Have you tried trails?
I have. Yes.
And
Okay,
it's
so
not as hard on the joints.
not as hard as the joints. See, I know, I know. So that's number
I'll
one.
get you out there.
So number one is longevity. Number two is I don't like the elements. Like when it's too hot, when it's too cold, like how you run outside,
Yeah.
like in the winter. Yeah.
Winter's better than summer because it's like the perfect temperature.
But the ice lungs, like I don't know how you inhale and the coldness, like that's the one thing about winter running
Well,
that
are you like a fast runner? Like, what's your pace?
I don't know, fast. Yeah, I can run 10 kilometers outside because I have run. The last time I ran an outside run, I ran 10 kilometers in 42 minutes.
Oh.
So I'm kind of
Like,
quick.
you just need to slow, like, for winter, you
Yeah.
just need to slow it down. That's
Okay.
all. Like,
Okay. Number 3, why I don't run outside and why I'm terrified for you is animals. I'm terrified of animals. We live in the middle of nowhere. Like, so the animal, like there's, you see the bear traps in the summer
yes.
and you see the footprints in the winter.
Yes.
You're not alone.
No.
So in my garage on my treadmill,
You're alone.
I'm alone. So those are my 3 reasons. I'm not saying they're the best reasons, but that's why I stick to the treadmill.
Well, you know, if you came out and joined us on a run, there'd be enough people not to worry about animals.
That is true. It's something like honestly, like I think there's more positives to run outside than indoor. What drives me nuts is prior to COVID, I love to travel, and because I don't run outside, if where I'm staying doesn't have a treadmill, I don't get a run.
Mm.
Because I'm not conditioned to like run and stop at lights, and like it's a different form of running, right? Outside versus indoor. So
Yeah.
that is the main reason I do want to try to start running outside again. Is just because like when I go traveling, I would like to just be able to run and not be limited to
Hmm.
the treadmill.
And there's something magical about like travel running too.
Yeah,
Like you can see places that most people don't get to see
that's right.
on your feet.
That's exactly it.
And
Yeah.
you're getting like 50 kilometers a week. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I do, dude. Like
Yeah. I'm gonna be hit with like I know the comments and from the running club. Like I know I'm gonna get just
you're in trouble
blown
now.
up.
You're in trouble now.
Yeah, I know. Well, because I'm a little bit of trouble now, we're going to put you in a little bit of a hot seat.
Okay.
So we're at the part of the show. It's called the Mac City Minute, where Tanner, the man behind the camera, is going to ask you 5 questions, just rapid fire.
Okay.
Try your best to just like not even think about it, just whatever comes off the
Oh,
top of your head,
God.
Just spit out the answer.
'Kay.
You ready?
Ready.
All right, Tanner, hit her with the questions.
Alrighty, question number 1. How does running affect your life daily?
Antidepressant.
Alrighty, question number 2. What is the most interesting run you've ever taken?
Iceland.
Alrighty, question number 3. What's your favorite way to treat yourself when resting on a multi-day run?
A lake or a river.
Alright, question number 4. What is something you do to train that most people would not expect?
The pulling the tire, maybe.
Alright, and question number 5. When you're training, what do you jam out to?
What do I, sorry?
Jam out to.
Oh, electronica.
There you go, 5 questions.
There you go. Those are good. I like how do you come up with these questions?
I sit at home and think about the guests that we have and see how we can relate it to what they do.
Yeah, it's a different 5 questions every time. And they are very specific to the guests.
Yeah, sometimes I create them the night before. Sometimes I create them 5 minutes before the show because I forgot.
There you go. All right. So Iceland, why was that your funnest
Wow,
run?
it was the most beautiful place. It was like the most poorly organized one. I'll say that politically. But it was so beautiful. And I want to go back there. Most places I'm like, I've been there, I want to try somewhere new, but I actually do want to go back there.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing about running. Like, I've helped organize a bunch of runs. I've helped sponsor runs through company sponsorship, and I've participated. Like, there's so much that goes into organizing a run that people are like, "What are you talking about? You just run." You're like, "No, it's a lot." And when you're talking about like big distances, it's really easy for that to go awry.
Yeah. And I think this was this woman's first time branching out, and a lot of learning.
Yeah.
A lot of learning to
It
be
happens.
taken from it. Yeah.
So when you're running and you're traveling, are you running like marathons, or what's the kind of distance that you're going for?
Usually it's a staged race, so that's where you run a certain amount every day, and then you camp at night.
Right.
And my first one was 150. I did a few 150s, and then my last one was 350. So that goes from like 20K a day to like a marathon a day. And in New Zealand, it was like a marathon a day, and then the third day was 90 kilometers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hardcore. You're going major distances.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. This is it's a running question. What kind of shoes are you wearing? What's your brand?
I have to disclose that I'm an ambassador for Ultra.
Oh, okay.
As of yesterday, I just signed the contract.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
But I have always worn them. Like, well, I wouldn't say always. When I first started, I didn't. And I need room for my toes.
Okay.
Or I was losing toenails left, right, and center. And then I found Ultra. And, like, now I rarely lose a toenail. Like, they're so comfortable.
Okay, big shout out to Ultra then.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this shoe brand
No?
before. No, because because of the amount of running I do, like I've tried everything. My go-to brand, which I've been wearing for years, but the newest version that I just bought, not good. I need to get rid of them. Maybe I'll try Ultra. Is Asics.
Oh, okay.
I love Asics. And I've been running with them for probably 15 years.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, the new one that I just bought maybe 2 months ago is killing my feet.
No.
So it's not working out for me. So what's this brand called again?
It's Ultra, Altra.
Okay.
And they support the natural foot shape. They're zero draw. So yeah, and they have quite a few models, but the one that I swear by and always stick with is Lone Peak.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where can I get this? Is it online? Do they
So like
here in Fort Mac?
they have a website, but it's like not for Canada. So here I usually get them on like Runner In or Trek In, and I think they have a suggested website that you use to get theirs. And sometimes, like for you who you're like a treadmill runner, you can get some at Running Room.
Okay.
And they'll go on sale too. They have good sales at Running Room for Ultras.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it
I'll
out.
spam you with all my sources.
Okay. Cool. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is the end of the show. So thanks for coming. Really do appreciate it. But before we leave, I need to give 2 shout outs. Is that okay, Tanner? Can I give 2 shout outs?
You can give as many as you want.
All right. First and foremost, forgot to do it yesterday, Tanner's mom. Tanner's mom made me some homemade, it wasn't chicken, it was turkey soup.
Turkey soup, correct.
Oh, it was delicious. And like I like to eat, as we talked about earlier in the week. She shaved these onions down so thinly, like they just melted when they were in my mouth.
All by hand.
All by hand. Yeah, that's what we found out. So big shout out to Tanner's mom.
Best cook in the city for sure.
Killing it on the soup. So thank you very much for the soup. Second person that we're going to shout out is my father, Gregory Pierre. He sent us a gift yesterday to add to the set, a bottle of Demerara 12-year-old rum. So big shout out to my dad. We're not going to crack it, Dad. Don't worry. It's the morning show. However, I love you. Thank you very much for the gift. And anybody else at home, if you want to give or send me and Tanner some gifts, we're all for it.
We love free things.
We love free things. So somebody also sent a book. My wife sent a book by Matt McConaughey, Greenlight. So that was the first gift we got. Now we got a bottle of booze. I'm excited to see what else we get sent.
Maybe it'll appear on set.
Maybe. We'll see. So anyways, Fort McMurray, everybody watching, once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you so much for coming as well.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck with your run. We'll
Thank
definitely
you.
be following you and supporting you in spirit, not in body. You're on your own for that one. But everybody at home, thanks again. It's been another great week. We have a banging lineup next week, so please tune in. And like we talked about earlier, we've got guests booked until March, and we got a few more for March. So thanks for all the support for everybody who wants to come in and have a chat with us. Other than that, have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
What a deadly old way to end another morning show. Later, boys.